All right, so let's go ahead and let's take a look at how we can go and basically add items to your scene. So let's go ahead and let's delete everything within the scene here, and let's build this up manually. So first things first, let's add in an A box, okay? And then of course this is HTML, so you have to close that off as well, okay? Now again, because it's HTML, it will technically function like an HTML tag, meaning that it'll just print text there, but you don't really need to be concerned with that, okay? First of all, let's just go ahead and let's add in a position, okay? Now, the position, you can say as 0, 0, and 0. Now, this is going to put it at the origin here. And if you look around, well, there's nothing there. So first of all, what are these three numbers here? Well, they are the x, y, and z coordinates, okay? And when it comes to the coordinates here, if you, for example, say -3, you'll start to see that there is a white box there, okay? And and that is what the color is. So we could change the color of this to, for example, black, okay? And then there we go. Look at that. We have black. We can make it blue. And these are just the standard colors. You can make it pink. You can make it whatever color you want. Let's make it orange. Okay, and I think it works with both grays, which I at this point I forget which one's the British and which one's the American one. But anyway, nevertheless, let's just make it orange because it's a nice color here. Okay, so we got this orange here, and we have a position here. Now, if you want, you can see that if I move this around, it's directly in front of the camera. And all I've done is I've just kind of moved it down 3. And you can, let's say, if you add this 3 here, you can see it moves up 3 and then down 3. And these numbers here, by the way, are meters. And that becomes important in AR. That is augmented reality. And you can move it to the left or the right here, and then the left, etc. So let's just go ahead and let's just do that here. And we might as well say that this is 1, right? So it basically puts it in a meter in front of us, okay? So there we go. Now, of course, there's a bunch of other things you can do with this. For instance, you can add in a rotation, okay? And this is rotating on the X, Y, and Z. So if we, let's say, did 45 here, you can see that it does rotate along the x-axis, and then 45 here. If we turn that to 0 here, it also works with negative degrees as well. Okay, so you can see that 45, and then 45 is kind of an interesting one. If we made this 33 and then negative 33, you would see the difference in between that, right? So we got 33 and negative 33, and of course we have the z-axis here. Okay, so you can do it anything up to 360, which is, the exact same thing. But if we did 393, 393, you can see that it's the exact same as 33. Okay, and the reason is that it just keeps on going because remember there are 360 degrees in a rotation circle, and if you wanted to do 720, like nothing would change just because it just keeps on rotating. So you can have like you can just keep rotating this. But in good practice, when it comes to anything with angles, is to keep things within the 360. Sometimes in game development in particular, and what's interesting about augmented reality and virtual reality is that even if you're making like an app that uses this stuff, a lot of the nomenclature and the lexicon is borrowed from game development. So sometimes like if you're programming, you might be doing something and you want it to go to 360, right? You wanted to do it like a full circle. And instead, what you'll do is you'll do like 359 and then add one at the end. But that's kind of a weird thing there, okay? So as you can see, we can add in a box and it looks pretty good, just like that. So there's a few other things you can do with this here that is important. You can change the height here. So for example, the height, and then we're gonna make that equal to 1. Okay. Well, it's already 1. So what if we did 0.2? You can see that it's now smaller. Okay. So the height, you know, let's just put that to 2, and you can see it's twice the height. Okay, and we can say the width. Okay, and you can bet how this is going to work. If you do 0.02, you change the width here, and of course, it's still the same box which you can use, except the width is obviously 0.2. So maybe let's make that 0.6, and then lastly we have the depth. Okay, and then we can make that equal to you know, um, we can make it equal to 10, right? And then or 2, and you can see that it's slightly more it's deeper, that is, right? So like you have obviously the height, because since you're working with 3D space, you have the height, which is up and down, width, which is from this point of view, left and right, and then lastly the depth, which is front and back. Okay, so that's another thing that you can do here, right? So for the most part, this is the basics on how you can add in a box to your scene.